how are you?
Very good. Shiva Shukar.
Shubh Sakal. I'm fine. So today with us Hirotaka Suzuki. So Hiro, I know about you, but people may don't know about you. Will you share about yourself?
Sure. First of all, thanks for having me today, and it's my pleasure to be here today with you. So, my name is Hirotaka Suzuki. Just call me Hiro because like Hirotaka is a little bit long name. So I'm a software engineer originally, and currently I'm serving as a CTO of the company called COEL, and some other companies as well. But I'm doing like UI UX area where we build some user interfaces or user experiences for like automobile and stuff like that. And also at COEL, we build this, data analytic kind of system where we provide services to our clients, which are mostly like a corporation, those kind of companies who are doing business with their clients. So that, we build some system to provide them with data analytics results so that they can grow their business. That's what I do these days.
Okay, that's great. I think I know that you're interested in music. I know a lot of people in tech like Lex Friedman, founder of Fast AI, Jeremy Howard. He's also into music. So what kind of music you like, and do you play any instrument? I know you play.
Yeah. I play guitar, and originally I was into hard rock music.
Okay.
Like very
That's
classic one. Yeah, very classic one, like Deep Purple, Led Zeppelin, or stuff like that. But my favorite is the band called Van Halen. Have you ever heard of it? The very famous
Not that
guitarist.
Much.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, Edward Van Halen is one of the top guitarists in the world, I would say. Yeah, so I would say hard rock music, but lately, not that much into those kind of hard, heavy kind of music, but it's more like relaxed kind of jazz kind of stuff. Yeah, that's what I hear.
Jazz is also interesting. So move on to the next question. You did work in automobile. I think it's almost like about 19 years you did in automobile. Yes. Also human machine interface. Do you want to share anything, like any specific project you like there?
Right. So, well, first of all, the reason why, I have been working in the automobile industry is that, well, of course, I like vehicles. I like driving cars and stuff like that. But more importantly, when you think about the UI, UX, user interface or user experience, the automotive, like the vehicles these days, well, it's far behind the standard, which means that, in other words, it only has got bad UI, UX, right? And I just want to change it. So that's one of the reasons why I do some projects in the automobile industry. And for instance, lately, we are getting this kind of autonomous driving vehicles or electric vehicles and stuff like that. So everything is becoming digital. So it's like, driving car is like getting similar to using your smartphone or stuff like that. So we'd better provide like kind of similar user experience or like more common user interfaces or user experience to users, because they are familiar with smartphones and stuff like that. So they always want to, use like vehicle, car in the same way as they do with their smartphone.
Yes,
so there are many things we can do or we should do in the automotive industry.
Are you like hopeful about the like self-driving kind of thing? Like,
well, yeah, that's a good question. I mean, many people ask me about that, but well, as an engineer, I am very much interested in developing autonomous autonomous driving vehicle. Yeah, it's very challenging, and technically it's very interesting. But I would say I kind of more interested in UI UX area. It's not about the underlying technology, but it's about how you design the way to interact with those technologies. You know what I mean? So that's the most interesting area for me.
Okay. I also think that if car driving itself by its own, then we have more time to like interact with other thing in car.
Right.
So that's time UI is like important. You have to like interact with the car. Okay, move on to the next question. Currently, you are like doing analytics for COEL AI. COEL incorporation. What is the like main product? What is the like kind of analytics you do? Like, is it about sales? And I know that it's about sales and marketing. So can you like describe it in more like in your own version?
Sure. So at COEL, we have two main projects or two main products, one of which is about what we call attribution. So attribution is about analyzing your daily business activities to see if those activities contributed to your business or not. So given the results of your activities, results of your businesses, like, how many deals you have gotten, how many sales you have achieved or stuff like that. Given those information, we analyze the previous activities of that corporation to, achieve that, business. And then we're going to let them know, okay, this activity, this business activity contributed to that specific result a lot more than any of other activities and stuff like that. So with that information, our clients, they can like evaluate their business activities, and they can better understand which activities made more sense than others, so that they can be ready for the next activities to grow their business. That's one thing. That's what we call attribution. And the other thing is about the prediction. So it's more simple. It's a very simple prediction. So how much likely will you get any closing deals with this specific customer? We're going to provide them with some prediction about that probability.
Okay, that's interesting. Do you use notebook?
Yeah, quite often.
Like there is a group of people, they think that notebook encourages bad habits.
Yeah.
I don't agree all of their claims, but I kind of agree with one thing, that notebook don't encourage to use or follow the good software engineering practice. That is kind of okay from my side, because notebook is mostly for R&D and data science kind of analytics kind of thing. What is your opinion about that?
Yeah, I agree with those claims to some extent, not all of them, but yeah, I understand what they are talking about. But from my point of view, I'd say, doing experiments is totally different thing from building software, right?
Yes.
So
of course,
you'd better not confuse those two things. So when you do experiments, the most important thing is that how quickly you can iterate many experiments, right? And the notebook is a great fit for that purpose. So yeah, it's very handy. You don't need to worry about complicated things if you are working with notebook, because it's just handy and it's very easy to use kind of software.
It's also kind of intuitive also,
exactly. Yeah,
you just code one cell and run it. You don't have to run it from beginning every time.
Exactly.
That's
you just need to run. Yeah.
Yes, that's the kind of thing I feel more comfortable, because when I code in Visual Code or like some other IDE, that's that time I have to run everything from the beginning again. Every time I'm changing it, I have to run everything from the beginning. But in case of notebook, you can run like go through like few cells, then you can rerun specific cell multiple times if it's necessary. So that's the kind of like more like that's the main thing I use like notebook. Is it
Exactly. And
also
yeah,
is
yeah,
it also true
exactly.
about
You
you?
know, yes. And well, and that's the most important thing when you do, I mean, when you're doing research or experiments.
Yes, yes,
But
yes,
on the other hand, you know, in case of building software or building system, it's totally different thing.
yes,
So
yes,
building software is like kind of, you know, it's very similar to like architecture. I mean, like, you know, build the building or stadium or stuff like that. You know what I mean?
yes,
So when you do that, you always need to, you know, care about the overall software architecture and how efficient it is and how logical it is. And of course, you know, first of all, it needs to run in a right way. So when you do that, of course, you can, you know, utilize notebook a little bit for some purposes, but I would say building a system or software using notebook is not a good choice. So it's like I would say the most important thing is that you need to understand what you're trying to do. You know what I
yes,
mean? So if you are trying to do some experiments, then notebook might be a good fit. But if you're trying to build a system or software, maybe you'd better try something else.
yes, yes.
So yeah, yeah, that's
I
my
also think
answer.
it's like not apple to apple comparison, like when you like compare with another idea with notebook ID.
Hmm.
So it's not like apple to apple comparison. It's like
Right,
because
right.
they both like both of the thing has their own purpose. Like no, they are not built for same purpose. Also, you started programming with like Microsoft Basic.
Yeah.
I never used it. Uh, I know nothing about it. Also, like you also use Java.
Yeah,
You wrote two books on Java. I think that's
exactly.
correct. I know both of them may be available in Japan. Now you are working using Python only. Am I right?
Well, not only Python, but mostly Python.
Mostly Python.
Yes.
Okay. Are you thinking about like switching to some other language, like in future, maybe in near future, or if you're like thinking or
Mhm.
considering other language, what is the main reason to like?
Yeah, interesting question. So, you know, this is how I see the programming languages. So, from my point of view, you know, even though we have many choices like Python or, you know, C Sharp, C++, or whatever, JavaScript, TypeScript, and so on and so on. But from my point of view, everything is pretty much the same. You know why?
Yeah.
Because currently we only have this one single type of computer architecture. So if you deep dive into the very fundamental part of the computer programming, it always goes to the so-called von Neumann architecture.
Okay.
And of course, you know, if you take like academic kind of programming courses, they may claim that there are two types of programming languages, one of which is the procedural programming language. The other one is like a functional programming languages. So the procedural programming language is like, for instance, C or maybe Python as well, of course, Ruby or JavaScript and stuff like that. Whereas the functional programming languages are like Lisp or Scala or, you know, Prolog or those kind of things. Well, yeah, some people may claim that, okay, they are totally different. But if you go deep dive into the very fundamental part of the computer programming, it always, like I said, it always, you know, goes to the von Neumann architecture. So as long as you're playing on that architecture, I would say the programming language those are pretty much the same. So currently I'm using Python in many cases, but it's kind of personal preferables. Of course, some programming languages have some pros and cons, if you compare to others, but the fundamental part are pretty much the same. So if you know one programming language very well, then I would say you are ready to try anything else. It's just like a couple of days for you to catch up to that new language, as long as it's based on the von Neumann architecture.
Okay.
So yeah, and if I were to switch to something else, I think I don't care about it very much, and of course I can try anything else, but I don't care that much. But if I were to try something new instead of switching to some other languages, if I were to try something new, it would be quantum computing.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, and because the quantum computing is based on a totally different architecture. It's nothing to do with von Neumann. Well, it's not nothing to do with, but it's just there's like a very less linkage between those two architectures. So it's kind of new way for us to do something interesting. So the quantum computing is one of the most like interesting area for me for now.
I think quantum computing is it still open? Is it right now open for like everyone, or is it like only for the some researcher? As much as I know, they are like still like some only open for limited people, not for everyone, I think.
It's getting open.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know about that.
Yeah, it's kind of very yet very primitive like implementation. So it's very limited. I mean, what you can do with that is very limited. But I think it's getting very easy for us to get access to those infrastructure where you can try your quantum computing.
I think I know a few things about that. Some company is trying to like doing like virtual quantum computing, not like real quantum machine. They are like creating virtual environment for quantum computing. I think that's maybe like still now that's the most like used thing in like quantum computing. I'm not sure about that much. I never tried. Okay. In Python world, like there is always some debate like single quotation, double quotation kind of thing. Some people like functional programming, some like do like object oriented kind of thing. There is like some like online fight. They are not like real fight, but there is some online like
there's
argument
always,
is exist, conversation is existed. Like
it's
it
kind
is
of
also
controversial.
Yes, it's kind of controversial. What is your like, do you follow those kind of conversation or
well, I kind of like it because it's just entertaining, to see people, discussing about those crazy stuff. But when it comes to so let me, start with the second one, the functional versus object oriented. For that part, it's not like one or the other. You always need to take the best of both worlds. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it should be, I say it's just okay as long as you know what you're doing. I think it's the same as the notebook versus, let's say VS Code or stuff like that. But the most important thing is that to understand what you're doing, right? So maybe for some part, you'd better go with object-oriented way, or maybe some other part, you'd better, do it in a functional way. But it depends. So we always need to try to take the best of both worlds. And and for the first one, like the double quote and the single quote, I think it's totally a personal preferable thing. And from that perspective, I prefer single quotation.
Yes.
Just because it looks beautiful. I mean, when you open the editor and yeah, it just looked nice. And that's the only reason why I go that way. But then again, the most important part, I mean, the thing about this quotation stuff is that being consistent.
Okay.
Right? If you go with single quotation, just go with it. Don't mix with double quote and single quote, but be consistent. Being consistent is the most important thing, I think.
I also like, do you follow Pepe it like as a like Bible? I think some of their some of their rules is like really annoying, like 79 character in single line, that kind of. It's like weird, I think. So,
it's totally weird.
Like they have like one thing called flatted for loop, like single line for loop, this kind of thing. But if you do single line for loop, it's like really like it's in most cases it's happened like you are using single line for loop or this kind of long kind of thing instruction. So it's always crossed like 79 character.
Right. Yeah.
And when Visual Studio Code shows like there is a red line down that code, it's annoying. It's like
annoying. Yeah.
Sometimes I like just want to change the rule.
Right.
Sometimes I feel that way. Do you have like any Pepe kind of like you don't follow in personal, like you don't don't like that much? Any?
Yeah. Right. Having those kind of guidelines.
Yes.
Like Pepe, it's nice, and we should have that kind of guideline, and everyone needs to follow that. But it's not a single ground truth or that kind of stuff. So there's always some reason to not follow that rule. And for instance, about the one line limitation, like 80 characters or 79, where did it? I mean, where it came from? Well, back in 80s, more than 30 years ago, the console, it only has 80 character per line. And back then we didn't have huge monitor. So, that's a kind of physical limitation. And that's when we decided to limit the numbers of characters for each line to 80 because of that physical limitation. And that limitation doesn't exist anymore.
Yes.
Right? So it doesn't make any sense to limit 80 characters.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So
I didn't know that like there is there was a limitation of like 80 line limitation. That's kind of new information for me.
Yeah, it's very like kind of old stuff. Like like I said, it's back in the 80s. But these days, of course, you can expand to whatever length you want. And but I personally prefer like 100 or 110 kind of characters in a single line because that fits to at least to my screen, and you can see everything in a single screen. So yeah.
I think if it is too long, that's also like kind of annoying. Like it's like moving this way.
Right. Yeah.
I think if you can see it like without moving your shoulder, that's the like perfect.
Yeah, exactly. For me. Exactly. Yeah. It's yet another physical limitation, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe in future there will be like bot that will move us this way while we are coding. I don't know. Okay. What is you're thinking about? Like there is a like comment thing also. Like some people like like to do like comment everything. Like if there is a like.
Right. Yeah.
There is also like a controversy. Like some people say if your code is like need comment. Yes, if your code speaks for itself, then you don't need comment. And this should be the only one way. Some people describe that way. Like some people go like that for saying that if your code is not describing itself, then it's a bad code. Like
Right.
you shouldn't
Yeah.
do like commenting. But some people say like it is always better to like comment. It's if you think this code need comment, you should do it. Like this comment will work like documentation in future.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yes, I think my position for that question, I'd say we should have comments in our code, even if the code speaks for itself. And the reason why I say so is that, like you said, as long as you're building system, so you always need to think about documentation.
Yes.
And well, some people say, if you want to understand what we're doing here, just read the code. Some people say that, but well, it's not friendly. Like it's not easy. I mean, we'd better have this well-organized document where you can learn pretty much everything from that document, what we are doing in the system. And that helps, other people who will be involved in the project to catch up. And so, yeah, for that, we'd better prepare at least some docstring, not the comments per line, but like the docstring section on top of the code or function. I think that is necessary, and sometimes that helps ourselves as well. I mean, it's very easy to get lost in your own code, right?
Yes.
But what was the data type of this argument? I have no idea, or stuff like that. So having those information in the docstring section of the code is very helpful, even for us.
That's true. I think it's better to have like comment than having nothing, because
Right, of course.
because it's better. Like maybe it will take more line, like code will be like more bigger code, but I think there should be some comment. Like if it is difficult thing to understand, it should be like commented, or maybe documented in some other way of maybe. But comment is better, I think, because when you're looking at code, also you're looking at different document. That's kind of like not I'll say not like comfortable. Like if comment is there with code, then it's much more comfortable than separate documentation. In that case, that's why I think comment is better in some project. But end of the day, it's like personal preference. Like you cannot like push it over someone else, or you can force someone else to write comment. But it's better, like having comment is better.
And also, I mean,
yes, continue.
It's good, or I'll say, I personally think that we should have comments in the code, but the most important thing is that keep update that comment as well as you change your code. Sometimes we always forget to update the comments, and there's like this mismatch between the real code and what comment says. So that's gonna be a disaster. So
that's also happened with like docstring also. Like sometimes we forgot to update the docstring. Like your code have like 5 parameter, but your docstring showing only 3 parameter. Because we forgot to update that. That's happened. But it's always like also another thing about the test code. Like in Python, in my personal case, I don't like that do that much of like software engineering. I do more like R&D kind of thing, notebook kind of thing. When I do notebook, in like it's rare writing like test code for when I am doing like notebook, because every time I am running a cell, I can like it's interactive. I can see the output right there. So I don't like do like that much test code. So that thing also sometimes affect my like when I'm doing it like software development kind of thing. That's also like I think that kind of comfortness not writing the test code also go there also sometimes. So I have to like remind myself like you have to do the test code. You have to do the test code. I have to remind myself. So does that kind of thing happen with you, like, or is it like kind of you to like you do like test code every time you write some function? Is it like
a good question.
natural?
Yeah, well, I understand that. I know I need to do the testing. I need to prepare the test code every time I write some code. But honestly, that's the last thing I want to do. You know what I mean? I mean, I just want to make the software which runs, and I just want to see it running. And writing test code is like additional burden. You know what I mean? So once you're done with your code, and sometimes I feel like, okay, that's it. Let's give it a try. But actually, we need to spend some time to prepare a nice test, nice, I mean, like the coverage or stuff like that. I mean, yeah, but sometimes it just, I mean, it's easy to forget to write test code, honestly. But we'd better do that, or we should do that, because eventually that makes our life easier.
Yes.
If you have nice test code.
In some company, I see like they have like designation like tester, like they do write the test code separately by like coder doing their own thing. Maybe they also write a few test code, but in a rigorous manner, in a like long, like best practice kind of thing, they also do have like some other person who will write like all kind of scenario, that kind of thing. I think
exactly.
That's also helpful for us if we have that kind of other guy to write our like all kind of testing code. But I think it's also like responsibility of a software developer to write his own like test code.
Exactly.
At least in some level, not maybe possible all scenario, not maybe possible, but in some scale, software engineer should write like that.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the next question. I think I have like done all my technical question.
Okay.
Okay, let's you said you like stand-up comedy. What
stand-up
kind of
comedy?
Yes, like do you follow some like international guy, or is there like stand-up culture is also exist in Japan?
Well, actually, you know what? Interestingly enough, I would say there's no such thing as stand-up comedy in Japan.
Okay, that's also kind of true in Bangladesh also.
Oh, really? Oh,
some people tried it. Like some there is a guy called like Nabid Mahmood. He tried it like when we are like small, we are like younger. Actually, he started abroad. Then he came Bangladesh and he tried here also, but it didn't like grow that much. Like in case of India, in Bangladesh, most people follow stand-up of the India and like European or American stand-up. But the main focus is in Indian stand-up comedy. Like their stand-up culture is like huge.
Oh, interesting. But like I said, we don't have that kind of culture in Japan. And so I personally like to watch stand-up comedy video mostly on YouTube. And that's most of them are from United States, America. And there are a couple of favorites. I mean, comedian, and I pretty much enjoy it. And
favorite, can you name some of them?
Well, for instance, like Trevor Noah.
Okay.
Do you know him?
Yes. He's
from
like,
South Africa.
He's from like he's do like a show like comedy comedy.
Yes, Comedy Central. Yes,
Comedy Central. He do
daily something.
Yes, daily comedy something. I don't follow his like regular comedy, but I follow the comedy. The thing he's do for that specific daily show. Uh, anyone else like the
Yeah.
only?
Well, there's this Indian guy from Canada, originally from Canada. I forgot his name. Hold on a sec.
Okay.
Let me Google it. What is the name of his? Um, the okay.
I think I know him, but I can remember his name. I forgot his name.
His name. Oh yes, Russell Peter.
Okay, Peter.
Do you know him? Yeah,
Yes,
Russell
yes.
Peter.
He
Yeah,
like he do show in every country,
exactly. Yeah,
in
yeah.
Middle East also. I think that's
Exactly. Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, yeah,
He
yeah. That's
do.
interesting.
He also enjoyed like a Middle East show. Like he do a lot of show in Middle East. He also like
Yeah.
some sketch about the doing stand-up comedy in Middle East also.
Yeah, yeah. I think I watched that. Yes, yes.
That's interesting. Uh, in case of my, I don't like follow a specific one guy in
Uh-huh.
case of like English stand-up comedy, but in
Uh-huh.
case of India, I follow like a specific one guy, like, but he don't speak in English or he don't do
Oh,
stand up in English. He's like Zakir Khan. He's like kind of
I don't know
interesting.
him.
Okay, like he's like in Asia, like stand up is not that much big as you said.
Mm-hmm.
Also in Japan, but in
Mm-hmm.
his stand up, it's like there is like big concert. Like he do stand up in
Oh, really?
stadium. Like
Wow.
that's what like kind of impressed me. Like this guy doing stand up like concert, like in
Wow.
middle of
Wow.
like in a stadium. That's kind of interesting for me. Like
Yeah, yeah.
that's
In
what.
Indonesia?
No, India.
India. Okay. Yeah, yeah.
He's doing
Wow.
like stand up in middle, like it's big. Stadium is like big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like for like if you consider our culture or like in South Asian culture,
Mm-hmm.
stand up is not like that much big here. So doing stand up in a stadium, that's like big
Wow, that's
thing.
a very that's a very
Big thing.
big thing. Yeah.
Okay. Another thing, in Japan, like anime is like big thing,
Yeah,
as I
it's
know.
very big thing. Yes. Anime
Like
and do you know the term manga? The
yes,
comic?
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
manga. Yeah.
I think that's the like comic book part of the anime. Like most of the
Yes.
anime is like adapted from manga. I think
Exactly. Exactly.
most
Wow,
of
you
the
know very
famous,
well. Yeah.
most
Yeah.
famous of them like as I follow like Attack on Titan. What is
Uh-huh,
the name
uh-huh.
of the Japanese name of that? What is that?
It's Shingeki no Kyojin.
Okay, that's difficult to
Well,
remember.
yeah, Shingeki is like attack.
Okay,
Kyojin stands for like Titan. So
Titan or Giant.
giant. Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yeah. Okay, got it. That's interesting. I also follow like in Bangladesh, like there are like favorite like top 5 kind of anime. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you do like anyone do their list, there will be some common in like top 5. Like one of them is like Naruto.
Okay, okay, Naruto.
Another
Yes.
one is like Death Note.
There's no, yes, yes, yes. That's very popular
Like
in Japan as well.
Death Note, I think Death Note have a like adaptation like movie kind of thing in like Netflix maybe did
Um,
it,
oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
but it didn't like. I feel the anime
Oh, really?
fan, people hate this. Like hate is a strong word, but people don't that
Don't
much
like it?
don't like it.
Okay,
People don't like
yeah,
it
yeah.
that much. Also, another one is like Attack on Titan. That's the like
Mm-hmm.
it's always like top 2 or 3 or
Wow, wow.
in top 3 or 2. Also, another is like I forgot the name. What is that? It's Pokemon. Is it Japanese?
Ah, yes, it's very much Japanese. Yes.
Is it
You know
like?
what?
But
Yeah.
it doesn't look like anime. Like other anime, it has like some difference.
Okay, yeah, I think I see your point. Well, because the Pokemon originally it was a game character.
Yes, yes.
There's this game by the name of Pocket Monster.
Okay.
I think it was Nintendo game. I'm not sure if which hardware of Nintendo. Maybe the original Nintendo, or maybe like the very handy one. I forgot about it. But anyway, it originally came from the game, and the game, it was a huge success. It sells very well, and then there are like many franchise from that game, like anime, manga, comic, and also
Okay.
some other toys and stuff like that.
Okay, then origin story is not like manga in
No,
this
it's a
case.
game studio. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a game. Okay, that's why maybe it's look different
Yeah,
than
yeah,
little bit
exactly.
different than other like. Also, we follow like some anime
Hmm.
movie like Your Name. I don't know the like Japanese name of that. Your Name is one of the
Oh
like
yes, yes, yeah. Your name, yes. I think I know it. Yeah, 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 yeah.
people.
It was like a couple of years ago,
Yeah,
maybe.
maybe.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It was a huge success. Yes.
I think they have like few more anime like by that directed by that specific director from
Yeah,
he did
he
it.
is one of the most popular director, like anime director in Japan.
Okay,
But I don't remember what
okay.
his other work. But yes, yes, he's very popular. Yes.
Uh, do you watch like anime now or like
Um,
you stopped watching anime
Occasionally, yes.
occasionally? Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
which one
Like,
you watch right now?
yeah. Well, like you said, the Attack of the Titan is very, popular in Japan as well. But I don't watch movies or anime of Attack of Titan. But I read the
Manga.
original comic manga
Okay.
instead, and that's one thing. And also, I watch. Do you know the Evangelion? I don't know about the English name, but
Know the name is familiar.
oh, is it? Okay. And but yeah, it's available outside of Japan as well, like
Okay,
US for sure, Europe for sure. I don't know about the Asian region, but maybe yes, Evangelion.
okay.
That's one of my favorite these days.
Is it like action kind of thing?
Kind of.
I think you.
Yes.
I thought that you are into like sci-fi kind of
Yeah,
anime.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's sci-fi.
Yes, I'd say so. Yes.
Okay, now I got it. What about the Gundam or Gangnam?
Gundam. Oh, yes,
Yes.
yes. Gundam. Yeah, yeah. Gundam. Yes, I very much like it.
Okay,
Yes.
that's like
But yeah.
I think
Um
June have like a like
yes,
cost
yes, yes, yes.
big.
Big, like, toy kind of stuff of the robot, of Gundam. Yeah. That's very popular. Yeah.
Yes. But those anime is not like that much popular in our country. But the Attack on Titan is like one of the like trending right now. People
Mm.
are waiting like final season second part two.
Okay,
So
okay.
I'm also waiting for that. What happened?
I
I
know the
think
answer.
don't give a spoiler.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Spoiler alert. Okay.
Also, okay, like one question, not last question, but
Mhm.
as we have more time, it will not be the
Yeah, yeah,
last
yeah,
question. You hire a lot of people, like
yeah.
you like. I think you are right now CTO of two company. I think is it
Yes,
true?
yes. True.
Okay, so
Yes.
you are hiring a lot of people. What you look when you hire a fresher and when you hire a experienced software engineer, and what is the
Um.
different when you are hiring a data science kind of or machine learning
Mm,
kind of thing?
okay. So, first of all, I I don't have that much different criteria based on their experience or like specialties, like data scientist versus engineer, software engineer, or fresher versus experienced personnel. I don't have like different criteria for all of those things. But when I interview someone, what I always try to see is the way they tackle new challenges.
Okay.
So, every time as data scientist or software engineer or as scientist in general, we always face challenges and we always need to tackle those challenges, right? And I think the most important thing when we try to solve any issue is not to find a rapid solution, but it's always about to understand the fundamental structure of that problem. You know what I mean? So when I interview someone, I always try to see how they see the problem, how they tackle the problem, and if he or she tries to get the very fundamental, like, or in other words, principal elements of those problems. And then we can think about the solution, right? Otherwise, yeah, of course, if you think about like a rapid solution, maybe you can solve that, but it's just about it. And we always need to learn from every challenges we have, and to learn and to grow ourselves, we always need to understand the very fundamental things of that specific problem. So when I interview someone, I always try to see if he or she does that. You know what I mean? And I don't care about how much knowledge they have. I mean, even if they don't know, I mean, well, if he or she know nothing about the industry, well, that's going to be a problem. But the knowledge is not the biggest thing, because if you don't know anything, you just need to learn it. Yeah. Or maybe you just need to Google it, and then you can learn it.
But that's also kind of learning, like Googling Stack Overflow. Yeah. That's like a real constant in our life.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'd say the most important part is that if you can understand what the real problem is and what is the fundamental structure of that problem, and think how to solve it in a logical way. So I would say don't rush to the solution. I would say it's like a byproduct. The solution is in a way a byproduct, right? The real thing is about to understand the fundamental of the problem. And once you understand that, I think you already have solved the problem.
I think
that's how I see it.
In the most problem we faced is like if you understand the problem, the solution is like kind of common sense in most cases. Like not if you're not going like in research kind of thing. We also like sometimes we need like kind of reading a lot of research paper also, but when you are starting, the first solution is like kind of the common sense is the like first solution in my case, I think.
Yeah. Right.
Like, so yes, please continue.
Yeah, so that's how I interview. I mean, yeah, when I try to hire new people, and yeah, that's also true to myself as well. So when I see problem, I always to try to understand the very fundamental thing of the problem. Although if you're in a rush, but sometimes, well, when we get some error, for instance, we just copy and paste to the Google and hit the search button, and instantly you'll get the solution by
Stack Overflow.
Yes. And you just copy and paste that code, and it may solve the problem, but you have no idea what you're doing, right? And you have no idea why it solves the problem, but it works. Sometimes,
Yes.
yeah, we gotta do that, especially when we don't have much time. But that's not the way we are supposed to work, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
But it's like there is always a crisis situation.
Yeah.
In crisis situation, you need something that's not like best practice. But I think after that, like that time, you can like also like go deep into that problem, and maybe you will find some other optimized solution about that. But as you said, like you like focus on the problem solving part. But in Bangladesh, or maybe it's true about like other country also, some people focus only on the like not like competitive kind of problem solving. In my point of view, that's kind of a narrow way of judging like someone, like some, like for example, if you are not from CSC background, it's really kind of rare doing that kind of competition. Even like a huge part of like regular computer science students don't do like competitive programming. So when you ask someone, want to judge someone like just only based on that kind of problem, this I think is not like good like skill for comparing.
Right. Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, the competitive programming kind of stuff is like a totally different thing. I mean, it's like I don't know. It's like just like a sport, like you know. Yeah. So I think we'd better. I mean, we'd better not bring that kind of way to the system development or software development kind of stuff. It's just at least from my point of view, it's just a sport, like you know, the Olympic kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
I think I face some problem. Still, I face that kind of issue. Like people always judge you like with that specific.
Right.
That's kind of like sometimes I got kind of angry. One time it's happened like I said like I don't do this kind of problem. So if you it will be great if you don't ask me that kind of question. It was not like best thing, but I was that time like out of like I was not thinking like in right way maybe. But I think it's kind of not like good way to like judge everyone. Maybe that could be a part of the like judging point. Maybe that could be one way of judging, but that shouldn't be the only way, I think.
You're
like,
right. I totally
people
agree.
Like for example, I know a lot of like great programmer. They like they're right now they're great programmer, but when they started, they didn't started from like computer science background. They started from like math background. Some of them started from like even civil engineering background. They learn when they like grow with experience. They learn like programming, and like they also like do like competitive programming after like few years of experience or something like that. But if you like judge them when they are joining or they are starting with that kind of criteria, it will be like impossible for them to get into like this sector. I think it's kind of a get to stop like getting newcomer, or like I think that's kind of
because the competitive programming kind of stuff. I think I agree that it is definitely one skill set. So it's maybe a good thing to be good at competitive programming, but we definitely should not judge anyone based on that skill when you especially hire someone. You know what I mean? So it's good to have kind of skill, but it's not kind of mandatory requirement to be a good scientist or good engineer.
Yeah, that's what I think also that way. Okay, I think we have only 7 minutes left. Do you want to ask any like add anything?
I mean, question from me to you.
Not question, do you want to discuss anything like?
Oh, okay, yeah. So about the kind of, so let's talk a little bit more about the technical thing.
Okay.
So, you know, I'm very much interested in the the learning environment in Bangladesh. I mean, so for instance, in Japan, we have many like a private school where you can learn programming, and many people from other industries other than IT industry, they are trying to shift their career to IT, and the first thing they do is to learn how to program, how to code. And there are a bunch of private schools, online schools, offline schools in Japan, and they learn things and they become like an engineer, right? So what is it like in Bangladesh?
In Bangladesh, there are have some school or some institution, but those institution, I don't think they are good place to learn programming. In most case, people follow YouTube tutorial.
I see.
Which is also not best resource every time, because in case of if you follow almost every data science course, most of them has bad engineering practice. They don't write any documentation, any dog string in any of their in most software data science course, they doing notebook everything, but they don't write dog string. That's the common thing in every data science or analytics course. They are writing code but also but one good thing about Bangladesh, that Bangladesh government did programming part of our curriculum right now. So people are learning programming in their high school, whatever.
Oh, really?
Yes. Right now it's I will not say it's the they are learning best way, but they are learning. At least they are now familiar with for loop and this kind of thing. At least they know what is the grammar of programming. I think that's also helpful.
Wow. So kids in Bangladesh start, learning computers, not computer science, but maybe just programming, at least in their high school.
Yes, right now, as I know, it's from high school.
Wow, nice.
I think that's a good initiative by government.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you know what? In Japan, we don't have that kind of curriculum in Japan yet, but the Japanese government, is trying to make it mandatory to learn to have programming classes from elementary school.
Okay.
And that will start maybe next year or the year after the next. But here comes the problem. The problem is that, there's no qualified teachers in elementary school who can teach programming.
That's also true about Bangladesh also. There is not enough people. If people are learning doing computer science, they are really interested in programming, and they want to do job in programming sector, not in teaching, not especially teaching in high school or that kind of thing. So it's kind of difficult to get good teacher in. So I think that's also create an opportunity for us.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. We'd better, create some kind of.
But the thing is that when their teacher don't know that much about program, so their syllabus and teaching also kind of narrow. And also the thing is that in Bangladesh, people want to get good marks. They are not that much interested in learning. They are more interested in getting good marks. So when that's the focus, so opportunity is there, but it's not that big. They are not that much interested into learning. They are interested in good mark. So teachers know how to give them good marks, and they know the best way because they are doing the question.
Yeah.
in the exam. So that's one thing. Also, I have another question.
Mhm.
It's not about like technical, it's like about the kind of philosophy, but this question is like I face in a like first phase of a it's about 2017 or 18. I applied for a company. They emailed me with two questions.
Mhm.
Not, maybe not to one question. It's not nothing about the job, nothing about the like the coding stuff or
Mhm.
technical stuff. They asked me like one question. Answer this. The what is happiness for you?
Oh.
Like a philosophical question. That question, like I was in crisis. Like what I'll write? What is the right answer to that question? What do you think the right answer in your life? Like what is the happiness in your life?
Well, I don't know if there's any right answer for that question because it all depends, right?
Yes, yes,
But
it
at
depends.
least in my case, I'd say happiness. Well, I feel happy when I building stuff. You know
Okay.
what I mean? Like coding or like like a building blocks or that kind of things. Building things is when I feel happy.
Okay,
So yeah.
that's kind of common also for me when I'm doing like the thing I like programming or doing like data kind
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah.
Also, I have also another thing like providing family. That's also like if there is priority, like those are the top priority.
Mm-hmm.
When I am happy, I am happy when my family happy, and I'm doing
Okay,
the thing
yeah.
I like. That's the like top two priority in my case. Okay, I think it's almost 8
Yeah,
a.m.
yeah.
I think you have to go. So thank you for joining. Do you
Thanks for having me.
want to say like last two or three line about like any advice for the newcomer or fresher?
Oh, newcomer. Well, I think, overall, the most important thing is that being interested in the very fundamentals of anything.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And if you do that, then, everything else is just a piece of cake.
Yes.
So I strongly recommend people, especially freshers, to, to pay attention to the always to the very fundamentals of anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay. Thank you for
Okay,
joining today and
thanks for having me.
stay safe. This is the kind of COVID situation is getting much more worse. I think it's also in Japan. So
Yeah,
stay
it's
safe.
getting worse. Yeah, same to you. Yeah.
Okay. Bye. See you
Okay.
later.
Thanks. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.